Hello, this is Jonathan, and yeah, finally I got myself unblocked. That took a while. Yeah, so the main problem was, okay, I guess context. I got unstuck on the prefabs, failing to load. The main problem was I didn't include this prefab loader system. So when I was staring at that example, I was just staring at update and on start, and I saw the logic there, and I was like, yeah, I can just basically copy that and it'll probably work. And then it took me forever. I even learned how to debug this project with WinDBG. By the way, I mean, yeah, this is not a very good interface. I kind of hate this, but I think there are newer versions of WinDBG that I guess look nicer. I'm not sure if they prevent this weird like duplicated window thing. I don't know if it supports tabs in the future. But like I'm on Windows 7, so this is the WinDBG I get when I get the Windows 7 SDK. But yeah, this was pretty bad. The problem was though just this. So the debugger didn't really help me that much at all. So yeah, changes that had to be made. First off, I had to go change this. Where is that? If I control click, I should be able. Yeah, there we go. So originally, all I had was with base bundle, and I had with main menu, with custom game, with play, and those just add like systems for the corresponding states. I didn't have a core system adding thing. I didn't have a method for adding core systems, so I had to add this. This is new. And that allowed me to add the prefab loader system, and I gave it the was checked prefab that I created over here. Yeah, just implemented all this stuff. This is nice, by the way. I like that there's no more boilerplate for this. It's super smooth. And that was pretty much all that was missing. The other thing I had to change was I had to... Right, because I was doing this this logic here immediately after this. And even if I slept for like 5 seconds or 10 seconds, it wasn't ever hitting the completion. It was hitting this loading state, and it was not going to... It wasn't actually finishing. I think what has to happen is for this load to even occur at all, you have to exit from on start. And if I'm not mistaken, I have to run the systems in order to do the load. So like this data update here, I think this runs the play states, but I think at the same time it's going to also run the core systems as well. So once you've run the core system for the prefab loading, that's when you can actually do this check, and it'll be either it'll be completed or whatever. So you can't do it in on start, essentially, is what this says. So yeah, I finally figured out what was wrong with the prefabs. The other thing I wanted to talk about was how do I proceed from here, because this is not really the best way of organizing everything. Now that I know how it works, this is just like a hack solution to get myself unstuck. How do I proceed from here? And the way that I think this is going to go is I'm going to be following this guy's GitHub game jam thing. So this was posted on the Amethyst subreddit, I want to say, or like the Rust Game Dev subreddit. It's one of those. Someone wrote a game for a game jam, the GitHub game jam, I would think, and they used Amethyst for it. And what I liked about what they did was they structured their code in such a way that you have like a loading state. You don't have to like pass in the progress counter or any of that stuff. This stuff is in a special loading state, and your actual logic is in a running state, and that running state just holds on to a bunch of prefab handles. It doesn't hold on to anything else. Just, well, I mean, it holds on to these entities, but other than that, it just holds on to a couple of handles for prefabs. It doesn't have to know about like the progress counter or the loading stuff at all. So I figured, you know what? I like this. I like this this design. So I'm probably gonna go with this. And they also use a derived default, so when you construct a loading state, you don't have to specify all the stuff inside. You can just use the loading state default method, and everything's good. So, yeah, I'm really I'm really a fan of this layout or design that was chosen here. Now, if there's one thing that I do think is kind of annoying, it's the fact that this thing was like a runtime error, and it was really hard to, you know, like figure out what was going wrong. Like, it's hard to kind of figure out that it was this prefab loader system. But at the same time, I also kind of understand that it's kind of hard to prevent that kind of runtime error when, you know, the stuff is being loaded from a file, right? Like, you have to parse the file and everything to figure out how to load things, and if you can, or whether or not it's actually a successful parse. So I think it's fair that it be structured this way, but it did take me a long time to figure out what was wrong, and I guess is also my fault for not reading more carefully, because I should have noticed that they were using this prefab loader system in their core systems to begin with. That was entirely my fault for not seeing that. Yeah, we're done all that now. That's not important. So the next thing I want to do at this point is actually not continue playing with the prefabs here. So last time I talked about going to a Scala workshop where I learned about making things more type safe and you know, just general like functional design stuff, and I decided that I'd apply at least some of the things that I learned. I'm not really like that comfortable with things like tagless final. I'm not even sure you can even really apply that here because we don't support like higher kind of types. But I can at least apply the stuff I learned about algebraic data types and smart constructors to my code. Also, this is not something important. I opened up a bunch of files because debugging was hard, okay? Oh, I figured out what implicit sum does. It implicitly wraps things in options, I believe. That's what pops out to me the most, because usually you get like an option of a handle or something. Yeah, but I don't have like an option of was checked anywhere as far as I know. Yeah, no, there's no options here, so I'm pretty sure all that does is make sure that the handle that gets returned when you do this thing is an option, I think. I could be wrong, but that seemed logical to me. So yeah, we're gonna move back over to the filler now, and we're going to try and restructure this code a bit. And I'm not really all that comfortable with all this stuff yet, so I don't really know how well this is all gonna work. So one of the things I learned was using generics is good because it allows you to. They kind of said that it would be, you know, an inversion of control, which is something that people really like, I guess. So you're restricted in how you can implement the function, and you give more control about how it's called to the caller, because they can call it with different kinds of arguments. And I always thought, you know, like, it's better to be restrictive, but actually, no, if you use concrete types, it's actually, because it's not saying stuff like, oh, for all types, you know, then you actually have a lot of freedom in how you can implement the function, and that can lead to a lot of potentially bad states. But I think that this code is probably, for the most part, okay. I need to get rid of these panics. That's one thing I definitely need to do. But aside from these panics, I don't really think there's anything like super wrong with what I have here. These debug asserts I'm going to have to get rid of. That's kind of the first thing I want to do. But yeah, that doesn't really have to do so much with using generics. That's more to do with smart constructors. Or just taking algebraic data types all the way to the extreme, which I'm probably not going to do because of diminishing returns. So yeah, let's try and get rid of this. I think this is probably the most important thing to get rid of, I guess. Would be nice to be able to get rid of this. But I'm also not... Well, okay. Yeah, I was gonna try and like abstract over like things that implement len, but I realized that you can't do that because we can't abstract over we don't have hard-coded types in Rust. We only have we can only use like what, first order generics or whatever. So I can't abstract over all things that implement len. That's not gonna work. Well, maybe I could, I don't know. I don't actually know how everything is organized, but I can't just like parameterize over like these type constructors, so that kind of sucks. Because I was originally gonna just use like a smart constructor for a class like same size vex, and I just put I just like make sure that you can't construct two vectors that are, you know, different lengths, and like pass that in here instead. But this is a linked hash set. So yeah, that kind of sucks. This I can definitely do that for. And if I have that, then... Well, I guess I'd still have to do this, because we're still like pushing and removing stuff. I still have to handle this. We shouldn't be panicking at all. I feel I should be returning a result here. And I would like to be able to get rid of this too. So maybe shuffled. Yeah, shuffled should not be able to be constructed unless those things are of the right length. Unless this holds. So okay, that's a good constraint. Let's go look up shuffled. I might want to be less specific on these. Though I'm not really sure, like, does it really matter that much? I don't know. But yeah, definitely this guy, I can impl something for this shuffled. Instead of making all those fields public, we should just make them private and make the type public. And then we can create a new for this. It's going to be static. It's going to return a self. Oh wait, actually it's going to return an option. Self. That makes more sense. And we're going to give it these three things. We have locations, we're going to have regression items, and we're going to have junk items. And we're going to do a check. So if, I'm going to go back to the filler. Where is the filler here? So if this condition, then we're okay. Otherwise, we return none. So where was shuffled again? Right here. I like IntelliJ. I know, to be fair, you can do that in other editors, but you know. Uh-oh. Oh, it doesn't really matter. I was just gonna do a... I guess I could make this generic, right? This doesn't have to be... Although, no, shuffled itself is probably not gonna like it if I do that, because then I'd have to make shuffled general over, like, ABC. Also, I call this other items for some reason. Why is this other items? Let's go back. Is equal to shuffled. What is shuffled? Oh, it's just a shuffled. No, that's... Yeah, that's right. So if shuffled's third argument is junk items, which it is, then yeah, I can just call this junk items instead. Yeah, these should just be, Oh, well, actually, I could take things that implement iterator. We have impl trait now. I just thought about that. And then I could be, I could generalize over vectors and linked hash sets. I think that does work. I'm not sure about storing things that implement traits. But for now, let's just go with this because I don't wanna mess with this too much. I definitely will look into it though. It's definitely a certain mindset that you have to get yourself into. There we go. So now I have this, but I can't get these fields. So the only way I can really easily do that is if I allow them to... Also, I should probably make this public. Is allow them to move the values out of this. Not, I don't want people to be able to borrow it. I think. Or like, at least not mutably borrow it. So the cool thing about move semantics here is that once the stuff is moved, even if they mutate it, it doesn't affect the original data, because you can't even use the original data. So that actually helps us to enforce our constraints of being unable to represent invalid state. So we'll never have a shuffled that has that breaks this invariant here. So I think that's really cool. I don't know what to call this. Get items? Get... Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I should just call it shuffle.get. And then it'll return like a tuple of whatever's inside. No, that makes sense to me, I think. It might not be the best solution, but it's a solution. Okay. So... I guess I should just take a reference to self here. And then I can do... like, I'll just return the three fields, right? Like, self 0, self 1, self 2. There we go. That should do it. It always throws me off when Rust uses like 0-indexed, I guess, tuple access, when a lot of other languages actually do it using starting from 1. But I don't know. I actually kind of like it this way. This is more intuitive to me. The other way is less intuitive, but it's more common. It's kind of strange thinking about it. So yeah, now once you get out of or once you actually remove this option wrapper, you'll be able to just call get, and it'll return the 3 fields, and that, yeah, that should do it. That should enforce that this constraint holds no matter what. And now we have to handle the case where it isn't at compile time, and that's good. So now I don't need this anymore. I can call shuffle.get here. Then I don't need this shuffled here. I can just do that. And I think that's good enough. I think that does everything I need it to do. So where does this get created? where does shuffled get created? You get called here. Shuffle world. Okay, yeah, that's what creates a shuffled. Right. And I'm not allowed to do this anymore. That's private. So I can't just construct a shuffled. Well, actually, yeah, I can. I can construct a shuffled because this method is in this module. That's probably not a good thing. Yeah, okay, I understand. I don't want to be able to do that. It's not a good thing. Because as far as I know, this actually will compile, won't it? Actually, I'll just run the test. The test is easier to run. If I can just run the test, I'll be able to easily verify this. Cannot move out of borrowed content. Raro. Oh! Huh. That's really silly. That's right. I don't want to borrow it. I just want to move it. I like to move it, you know? When you're using Rust, you have to think about Madagascar. Or that song. I like to move it. Yeah, it does compile. Okay. So this is not good. We don't want this here. This needs to move to its own module, or it needs to move to the filler. Or shuffled should be moved to its own... Yeah, shuffled needs to be in its own place. Okay, that makes sense. Alright, we'll move the shuffled stuff over there. Need labeled item and location, so that definitely has to move. Although, we could try and do the infiltrate thing that I was thinking about earlier. We could definitely abstract over this. Yeah, I'm tempted to do that. Let's try that. Well, actually, no. Let's not get too carried away here. Let's make sure that stuff compiles first. Let's make sure that we can enforce this constraint first before we start getting polymorphic here. I do want to do that, though. It's definitely worth trying. Then I can get rid of this from the shuffler. And now you're not going to be able to do this anymore. Yeah, I need all that stuff still. But I also need super shuffled. And I realize that, yes, I do need to do another pub mod here. Pub mod shuffled. I'm sure there's some tricks you could do with the module system to make this a little bit cleaner. Maybe you can put them in the same file. I mean, I could have done that without separating them, so... Yeah, I definitely could have done some stuff there, but I didn't. Design bad. Alright, so it shouldn't allow me to construct this anymore. Expected function found struct shuffled. Structure is not visible here due to private fields. Roro. Better possible candidate. A possible better candidate is found in another module. You can import it into scope. Really? It's not gonna let me do that though, right? It's not gonna let me do that though, right? Okay, good. Yeah, I was thinking like this this help thing I hope is not a thing. Wait, it's shuffled. Oh wait, that's private. No, it's not. It's public. Huh. Shuffler shuffled. That's because it's not there anymore. Yeah, because there's no shuffled as part of shuffler. That's actually part of shuffled. Though I might not need it. I do. I do. You know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I want to move shuffled to its own file. Well, I feel like it still makes sense for it to be there. Yeah, I feel like this still makes sense. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make another module, though. How about that? Cannot declare a new module at this location. Are you kidding? I wonder if I can do this, since I have that imported into the super module. I wonder if I can do that, if it'll stop complaining. Stop. There we go. Then I don't have to have this file anymore. Are you sure about that? I guess it is sure about that. How do I import? Oh. Because it still thinks that shuffled exists. But I got rid of that. Didn't I? Yeah, I got rid of that. So I shouldn't need this. Anyway, if I try running it, it shouldn't work. Oh, this is annoying. There we go. Still complaining about shuffled not being found. What? Oh, how about self? Can I use self? Shuffled? Shuffled as shuffled. I mean, I guess that doesn't really make sense, but to do that, alias. Okay, that works. So if I use that, may I pub use it? This doesn't exist anymore. Alright, and okay, we've got some unused imports. I should get rid of those actually. I don't use those now. That was just when I was testing. Yeah, and I can't use this because, yeah, this is private. Cool. So that's one way of preventing stuff from being accessed. Actually, can I get rid of this? Will it allow me? I'm wondering. I feel if I don't make that pub, yeah, it's not going to be able to reach it. Okay, cool. So that exposes the inner module stuff to the outer, to other modules. And now I can't just do this anymore. That doesn't work. Now I actually have to return an option here. So we're going to try and shuffle, but if these things are of the wrong length, then we get an option back. And that should return the correct thing. So now when we call shuffle world, yep, you don't just get a vector, we're getting an option. Who's going to call shuffle and fill? Play sure does. Play likes to call shuffle and fill. So play should be the one responsible for handling this, because play, okay, well, this is not play, but play also calls it, and play is going to be responsible for handling the error, because this is like this is our top level, essentially, At least in when we're confined to this framework. This is as high as we can go. Can't go all the way up to main, so we're gonna have to handle our errors here, and then do whatever, yeah, we want from this point. This is under generate locations, which is called on start. Yeah, on start is pretty much where you can do whatever the heck you want. So yeah, I think I've fairly clearly established that that the state level in Amethyst is kind of the top level of our code base. So I want to return the option all the way up to here. We don't want to be able to construct shuffled if it doesn't meet those requirements. And we also don't want to be able to call shuffle and fill unless we meet those requirements as well. Yeah, shuffle and fill being under filler is kind of misleading, but I didn't really know where else to put it. So you're going to return an option. And then we're gonna call map instead. I think that makes more sense. So I have an option of a vector of filled locations, which kinda sucks because now we have a monad stack, but oh well. Yeah, I wonder if there's a better way around that. I know tagless final is how you would normally get around monad stacks and monad transformers, but yeah, this is Rust. I'm not really sure how well that's going to work, and also I haven't practiced enough of that, so I don't really know how it works well enough to say. Alright, but you're an option. I know that much. You're an option of shuffled. And fill locations only takes a shuffled, so I should be able to just call map fill location. What are you doing? Where'd you go? Oh god, you're frozen, aren't you? Yeah. Does it know how to do Ada expansion? I would expect the Rust compiler, being inspired by Haskell, to know how to do Ada expansions. So I'm going to assume that that's okay. Dot. Oh, is it like get or else? Or no, it's unwrap or else in this language. Unwrap or else, give it a thunk. That returns none, I think, is what we need to do. Actually, they might have a helper method that makes that easier. Let's look it up. Option Rust. They might have one. I just want to look at this. I want to look at the methods. They don't have an unwrap or none, huh? Oh wait, is this stuff new? Oh yeah, this is part of the pinning API. Sorry, I got distracted by that. Where? You know what? This is fine. It's kind of nitpicky to try and look for or none. Yeah, this is fine. I think. Yeah, it's not like this isn't either, so I can't really like fold it. And I don't think I would want to. So this works. You just move these down because it's kind of verbose as it is right now. So now shuffle and fill is going to have to return an option of vectors. Not vectors, an option of a vector. And now we have to handle this up front. What's gonna happen? We could just do nothing. That's one option. We could panic still. What else could we do? Not a whole lot else. Yeah, our options are fail gracefully and make sure that nothing happens, or we display some kind of error message to the user. We can't return a result because they're generate locations wants to return a vector of filled location. Oh, you know what? It could return an option. You can return an option. That's fine. Bring it all the way to the top level. Be as lazy as possible. Don't do anything you don't have to do. Now we're here. Filled locations is an option, and actually, since we don't use it, we're okay. Yeah, we're okay for now. This is not a problem. We can handle it when we want to handle it. So that's done. And where's our test? We had a test here that was testing this stuff. So this is going to be an option now. Which means I'm going to have to do what with this? I'm going to unwrap this, essentially. So if I unwrap it and it doesn't do what I want it to do, then it'll fail. How do I make sure that it fails? Oh, that's a should panic. Okay. If it panics, I think the test will fail. So I think it's okay to just do an unwrap, even. Or an expect at the very least. Let's go check the testing section of the book, though. What? Well, this must be really old. Wow, this is old. Is it? Well, I mean, it says it's old. Alright. Sure. Oh, this is just the header. Oops. I'm being silly. This one doesn't compile. Gasp. This kind of reminds me of Surprised Pikachu. I don't know why. Okay, yeah, panics will make the test fail. Cool. So this doesn't compile. Oh no, this code panics. Oh, that's different. I've seen this for, like, this code doesn't compile. I think it was the one with, like, question marks over it, though. This one's, this code panics one, though. That's kind of cool. I like that. I'm wondering if I should do a video on how to debug Rust code with WinDBG. You know, I think that might actually be useful. I mean, the answer is out there on like Stack Overflow, but still, I don't know. I feel like it could be useful. What's wrong with this? Oh, because I'm doing an unwrap or else. Oh, I see. I don't need to do this. I can map. I don't have to do that. Just map. Cool. This I still need to take care of, probably with the result. This I need to take care of. Actually, I don't need same-sized vectors or anything like that. I just need to make sure that these are the same length. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I think I can handle that. I don't have to be that general, but it would be nice if I could be. My brain just kind of blanked for a moment. What was I trying to do? I know I'm trying to do something. I'm trying to panic here, that's right. So instead of this, I'm just going to do an expect. Cool. That's helpful. So that's going to be useful. And I could probably remove this check even if I wanted to do so. Yeah. Alright, so that's a pretty good start. Let's run that test to make sure that it's okay. I don't want to just proceed from here. But yeah, I think we got rid of one runtime check now. We did. Success. We got rid of a runtime check. Sick. Dude, I'm really happy to know that you can do that kind of stuff in Rust. So next I'm going to want to get rid of this one. That shouldn't be too hard, I think. And then afterwards I'm going to try and get rid of this. Yeah, that's my that's going to be my ongoing project. But for now, I think that's going to do it. Yeah, that was a pretty good little session, I think. Obviously, I don't know how much of this kind of stuff I will be able to actually do once I get into implementing the game, because a lot of the logic will be happening at like the top level, I think. We're not going to be playing too much with, you know, like algorithms and stuff like that. Maybe? I don't know. That might not be true. I might actually be able to apply more of these things in the future, but for now, I think we're probably okay. Especially if I'm not going to be doing... Oh, actually, now that I've actually thought about it... Oh yeah, I could have... Oh, yeah. I didn't have to read the resource here. I passed it to the state dispatcher. I could have used systems to run... Okay. So systems will probably be our new top level once I get rid of all this stuff. I think that makes sense. Yeah, because we're going to be using ECS. So that should be interesting, yeah. I'm kind of getting a better picture of how everything's going to be put together. So, yeah. Next time we're going to continue refactoring code. Get rid of this, get rid of that. Maybe try and make some stuff generic. Or polymorphic, as you would say in FP land. But yeah, after that we're gonna go back into the prefab stuff. I'm gonna redesign play. I don't like the way that's currently designed. I hate that. I want to make it more like the example I saw in GitHub. And yeah, from there we're gonna, I think, after I get the prefab stuff organized, yeah, I think at that point we're gonna try to build like some of the core gameplay out. I think occasionally I might go back and add more like menu options and stuff, and like clean up the menus, because those still aren't perfect as they are. Also, I still don't know why everything got shifted over after the update to Amethyst 0.10.0. Because, as you've seen, when I run Mini-rando, for some reason everything is kind of shifted up and to the left a little. Let me see if I can get that to show up again. I would have to click run. Okay, yeah, I do have to click run. Also, I should clean up some of these. Well, actually, I will start using this soon, I think. I might not need this. Yeah, I might not. Well, I don't know. Yeah. I'm still undecided about a lot of things. But yeah, everything got shifted up to this, like, upper left corner for some reason, and it's kind of annoying that all this empty space got introduced, and I don't really know what caused that. So I'm gonna have to investigate that at some point as well. But that's gonna do it for today. So yeah, I'm just gonna call it right here.